We all know the classic legend of the werewolf, a large, bipedal humanoid monster with features that resemble that of a wolf. As the name implies, werewolves are pretty much ingrained into pop culture, from movies, comics, TV shows, and even books. The werewolf is everywhere. While some believe they are nothing more than just legends, others would disagree. There have been countless reported sightings around the world, to the point that quite a few number of people believe, wholeheartedly, that the wolf-like monster is in fact real. That said, not all reported sightings are the same. While some claim that werewolves walk on all fours, others believe them to be the bipedal monsters we know today. However, despite the fact that descriptions of the monster may vary from place to place, one thing is for certain: every country, every city, should it apply, has its own version of the werewolf, but by far the most infamous is the Michigan Dogman. The monster, first sighted in 1887, is described as a humanoid with the head of a dog. It's allegedly fairly thin, but its height, standing at 7 feet tall, still demands a huge presence. It has a cry similar to that of a wolf, and a human's blood-curdling scream. A cry that can travel the woods in miles, so some report. There are many stories of the monster allegedly attacking several civilians, but many believe that the creature only attacks when provoked, or when your average person steps into its territory. Sightings of the Dogman, as stated earlier, first began in 1887 in Wexford County. Two lumberjacks out doing their procedural duty spotted the creature out in the distance. As some tellings of the report go, one of the lumberjacks decided to take a break from cutting down trees when he noticed the creature off in the distance. He stared in disbelief and called his friend to take a look to confirm what he was looking at. His friend, shocked at what he was seeing, let out a shout. "What is that?" The creature turned to look at them for a brief second and then ran off. Another interesting sighting of the Dogman happened in 1938 in Paris, Michigan. Witness Robert Fortney was out in the woods when he was attacked by 5 wild dogs. He yelped and kicked them off of him, narrowly managing to escape with his life. When he got back into town, he reported what he saw. According to Fortney, one of the wild dogs wasn't on all fours, but stood on 2. From that day forward, several people around the area, around Allegan County, reported sightings of the Dogman near the woods. In the 1950s, reports skyrocketed, and nearly everyone around the area began to report on the creature. Later in 1967, it would be seen yet again in Manistee and Cross Village. Author Linda S. Godfrey would later release a book titled The Beast of Bray Road in 2014 that would compare the sightings in Manistee to a sighting in Wisconsin, The Beast of Bray Road. This would lead some to assume that the two creatures were one and the same, and simply migrated from place to place. To roll back a bit, another popular sighting was in 1961, when a night watchman was making his rounds at a manufacturing plant in Big Rapids, Michigan. Late at night, while he was on patrol, he saw a bizarre figure in the distance. The figure, as he reported, had the head of a dog and a humanoid physique. In fright, he drew his gun, but just as he was about to shoot, he decided to instead pull out his camera. With a simple press of a button, he snapped a photo. This photo has not been analyzed, however, many still question the validity of the photo. The legend would then gain more traction amongst the mainstream populace when Steve Cook, a disc jockey, recorded a song titled The Legend as an April Fool's joke. Though the song itself was nothing more than a joke, it was based on, allegedly, true sightings. Since the release of this song, the Dogman's popularity would skyrocket yet again, and sightings would continue to be reported even to this day. One of the most recent sightings was reported nearly as 2010. An anonymous witness reports, "In the summer of 2010, I went camping with some of my friends at their cabin near Shelby, Michigan. Some of their cousins came too, so the night after we got there, I was sitting by the fire telling one of them a ghost story. We were right next to a little creek, and on the other side of it, a huge, ghostly white dog ran by, like he was chasing something. I thought it might be someone's runaway pet, but this thing was huge. It was like the size of a black bear, and it was built like a wolf. So we went across the creek as soon as the wolf thing was gone to look for tracks or anything. We didn't find anything, even in the wet mud. Later that night, after everybody else went to their own campers, the camper started shaking so violently it woke me up. I heard a really low, deep growling right outside the window. Then, the camper started shaking again, and the eerie growling continued. I knew it couldn't be storming out because there wasn't a cloud in the sky before or after that night. When we got back home, we found scratches that looked like claw marks about 7 feet off the ground, right above the window. The Dogman, since its sighting in the 1930s, has been a staple of Michigan folklore. Much more than that, the creature ingrained itself into pop culture. There have been several books, documentaries, and movies made about the Dogman, and although they may not all be great, they do illustrate the reach this particular legend has. That being said, is it real? Truth be told, I'm not entirely sure. While some have fake sightings, that doesn't inherently discount sightings that others report. The skeptic in me wants to say that the Dogman is nothing but a hoax. But who knows? With so many sightings out there, the Dogman could in fact be lurking the wooded areas of Michigan.